Old Spice.
I used to think it didn't matter what deodorant I chose. Dumb. This test shows that Old Spice is the right choice. Old Spice performs in real man situations like basketball, recon, and Frenching. Try Old Spice, and if you still don't think it's awesome, call 1-800-PROVE-IT, and they'll buy you a stick of something that smells like wildflowers and shame. Take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
Jim, is this your father's Old Spice?
I think that's the question, John. I think that's what they're trying to get at here. What I see, and you noticed that in the end frame, it wasn't Old Spice, it was Old Spice Red Zone. Mm-hmm. And this is a huge effort to try to rebrand. And Old Spice has been, it's been around since 1937, actually. And you hear the whistling tune in the background, which is the Old Spice theme that goes on. And one of the things they've been trying to do, and Procter & Gamble bought it about 15 years ago, is how do we get it now to compete with Axe? And how do we get it to compete with all these things that this particular market is finding cool, when there's nothing cool about Old Spice?
That's the thing.
So this whole spot is this whole, what I see, and I think we'll see it again later in the show, just a big effort at rebranding. How do we meet where we see the audience going without us?
Mm-hmm. Definitely a rebranding effort, but I think it's kind of a failure in a way, because Old Spice is unintentionally funny. That's right. And when you bring awareness and self-consciousness to unintentionally funny things, you lose the whole effect. Now they're trying so hard that it's not funny anymore. And then the people that were buying it without the irony won't buy it anymore, because now it doesn't no longer belongs to their niche. I don't know. I think they just kind of lost it there.
So you think they won't make up enough of the market that will now think they're cool because they're mocking themselves?
I don't think so, because the people that will get the joke won't buy it anyway.
Oh, I see.
They already belong to a different brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good question, though. I actually think it's a very funny commercial, and it's making fun of other deodorant commercials. And right off the top, when he says, "I used to think there was no difference between deodorants," which is the case. It's all the same stuff. The only difference is the price and the scent. But it's all made of the same stuff and everything. And acknowledging that and then trying to set itself apart, it kind of turns its own irony in on itself. To be honest, I haven't thought about Old Spice in a long time. Yeah. And just the fact that they're doing this and kind of made me chuckle a little bit, and the fact that they're basically saying, really, deodorants don't matter anyway, kind of puts them on the map again in a different way. So I think I might be saying the opposite of what you're suggesting. I'm not sure, but it's
how do you rebrand a brand that's got the word old in it? It doesn't make any sense. It's like racing with a boat anchor tied to you.
Yeah, and they have a similar market value as like RC Cola in terms of the unintentionally funniness. And for things like that, you just have to leave it alone and don't change and have that funny thing going on, and then go bankrupt.
Does Mentos fit into that?
I think Mentos did it early enough, the rebranding to self-mockery early enough that it actually became
Mentos
the brand.
also did it in a way that wasn't in a vernacular that we understand. So there's actually something innovative about their approach.
Yeah.
But this is different in that regard. I don't know. It's an odd commercial. I also the irony doesn't escape me that I have a lot of gay friends who would love that commercial. I think it's a turn on to a lot of guys I know.
And it's not being particularly honest, because in the actual tests, when they did the other brand, the breast grew and they sensibly let it show.
And you were laughing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was so not an ad aimed at me. I mean, I guess deodorant ads are. Maybe they weren't always, but it's very male or female. It's one or the other. And so I sort of took it as an opportunity to see the inside workings of the male psychology. And
that is representative.
Like it's really, really simple.
Well, what's interesting is that I saw this commercial. This may just be a single incident that doesn't speak to anything, but it did stick in my mind that I saw this commercial on The Daily Show, which plays with exactly the same kind of tone of irony that this commercial plays on. So perhaps this is something that is designed for those kinds of broadcast times where the audience is already in that mode of thinking.
Right. I think in terms of the message and the brand, what do you call it, brand expression, it might be effective because it will stick to people's minds. But I still don't think it's going to translate to purchasing.
And when they throw up a list like that, basketball, recon, and Frenching, I'm thinking, what's left off that list? And I can't even think of what the heading is. Real man situations, I guess.
But you're trying to apply logic to something that is really written by comedy writers. You know?
Right. Yeah. And then you're supposed to take the Old Spice challenge, which is just a weird thing to say. I mean, I've seen it for like
which is running it
commercials.
Across 2 rubber chests instead of single nipples on it.
That's right.
Which is a funny visual. Of course, I want to start putting it on my head so I grow more hair. But,
and how many pharmaceuticals started as aimed at something else and they figured out it works to grow hair? So
and plus, the name "Gee, your hair smells terrific" was already taken.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, time for our exit question. Name a real man situation.
For me, it's being a panelist on mental engineering.
Oh, it's manly. Nana.
What John was just doing to me under the table.
Oh, cut that out. Valerie?
In my house, it's when anything goes wrong with the toilet.
Paul?
I think real men bathe. Really, the whole deodorant thing is irrelevant. A real man would just bathe.
A real man situation is moral ambiguity.